Good day, everyone. This is Father Sedfrey Nebres SVD here to share to you once again the Word in other words. So, this coming Sunday is a feast that's close to our hearts. So, we're going to celebrate once again the feast of the Good Shepherd. And this biblical symbol that we call the Good Shepherd is quite popular among people, among the faithful. I know many of you are watching this video right now really like this symbol and resonates well with the symbol of the Good Shepherd. Pero gaano nga ba kahalaga itong kwento ng Good Shepherd na ito sa ating journey din sa pananampalataya? While talking about the story of the Good Shepherd or the symbol of the Good Shepherd, we always have to consider two things. Number one, of course, the shepherd. And number two, of course, the sheep. Kasi yung shepherd nga, kaya nga siya shepherd dahil merong tupa, di ba? Merong flock to tend to or a herd to tend to. So, my dear friends, while talking about, the Good Shepherd, there are a lot of things that we can actually reflect upon. First, a shepherd is someone who cares for those who are entrusted to his care. So, isang taong nag-aaruga para sa mga tao o doon sa mga ipinagkatiwala sa kanya. In the case of a shepherd, a literal shepherd, he's the one who would take care of the sheep, or the goats, o kung ano mang inaalagaan niya. So, pastol, kaya nga napakahalaga sa atin, yung term natin in Tagalog, mabuting pastol, good shepherd. So my dear friends, isa sa mga turning points na nangyari sa buhay ko itong panahon ng quarantine period ay yung nagkaroon po ko ng isang alagang aso. So, of course, a lot of people want to have their own pet dog and it's only now that it's beginning or starting to sink in. It's dawning on me how important or crucial the role of a pet owner is in the life and welfare of a pet. Para ka palang nagkaroon din ng anak. So, taking care of this creature that's lovingly entrusted to you. At paano mo nga ba gagawing alagaan itong isang hayop na ito, na may mga demands. So, there will be responsibilities. And sometimes it can be very taxing, it can be very tiring. I know many of you know this, even those who don't have their own pet dogs or cats at home. Yung mga may anak, for example, taking care of your children while they are growing up, so trying to provide for them, di ba? And giving all your best just so you could nourish them to grow up to be good people, at makatulong sa family, of course, and of course matulungan din nating lumaki bilang mabubuting mga tao. So, the work of a shepherd is something very crucial, because the shepherd takes care of a flock, and more than that, a shepherd takes care of every member of the flock. Hindi lang yung kabuuan, kundi yung mga individual rin na bahagi ng kanyang kawan. So my dear friends, this responsibility that has been given to the shepherd, is something that we ought to remember today. Is something that we ought to reflect on today. We call God the Good Shepherd because God is someone who cares. May isang Diyos na nag-aaruga para sa iyo at para sa akin. Imagine niyo if it's difficult to raise a child and difficult to raise a pet, to take care of a pet dog or a pet cat, how much more God raising us up. Of course, God in his might and in his glory can do everything. Nothing is impossible with this God. But then, he lovingly takes care of each one of us and gave us this freedom that we are all enjoying. Itong mga malaya nating pagpapasya sa araw-araw. At yung mga panahon na tayo lugmok na, those times when we were already downtrodden and we were technically licking the ground, it is this God, who seeks to show us His love, who looks for us. Ang Diyos na ito naghahanap sa atin, sa ating pagkawala. At yung Diyos ring ito ang siyang naghahanap ng paraan para tayo muling makalapit sa Kanya. So, whenever we use or talk about the Good Shepherd, we always remember this message of love. A love that goes beyond anything. A love that can conquer anything. A love that we can hang on to. A love that we can trust. So, Yan po ang role ng isang shepherd. So friends, perhaps we're also asking, paano naman kayong mga tupa, no? Tayo kayang mga tagasunod na bahagi ng kawan, ano naman kaya yung ating responsibilidad, no? Yung tupa, kapag lumilihis yung kanyang landas, whenever a sheep loses his way and gets separated from the flock, the sheep is always subject to all dangers, all forms of dangers, no? There are wild animals, or sheep could fall into a ravine, no? Yung mahulog sa bangin, or that sheep could, many things could happen, no? Anything bad could happen. A lot of things could happen whenever a sheep gets lost, no? So, mahalaga sa isang tupa ang pagsunod. Kaya nga sa atin din, in our own journey, as part of this family we call a family under the care of our good shepherd, the Lord, talagang mahalaga sa atin yung kahalagahan ng pagsunod. Mahalaga sa atin na consistent tayo doon sa ating pagtugon, no? At whenever the shepherd calls, the sheep knows how to follow. We're not talking of blind obedience. Nasusunod na lang tayo dahil, syempre, yun ang sinasabi daw ng nagli-lead. Hindi, no? Kasi kapag may pagmamahal sa isang ugnayan, hindi magiging mahirap ang pagsunod. Hindi nagiging mahirap ang pagtugon. So I think that is what we miss in most cases, because whenever we talk of faith, we simply associate that faith to the responsibilities that are attached to an organization or attached to an affiliation. But we tend to forget that more than the responsibilities, we have to look into a relationship. We have to look into the value of our connection, no? Na hindi lang itong pananampalatayang ito is not about obedience to rules, obedience to a handbook, no? But rather it is obedience to a God. That's when the rules make sense, because we only understand the meaning behind restrictions, the meaning behind certain standards that we need to follow, whenever we know also at the root of it, if we know at the root of it, deep in our heart, that there is a God who truly loves, that this God of love is what we follow, and this God of love is the one we are trying to relate to, na ito mga ginagawa natin ay dahil mahal din natin ang Panginoon, dahil itong Panginoong ito rin ang nagmamahal sa atin. So, Good Shepherd Sunday. Kapatid, nasaan ba tayo ngayon sa ating pagtugon kay Kristo? How are we now responding to God's invitation of love every day? So, do you think you're out of love? Do you think you're a lost sheep? I think this is about time to reflect on these things. And, if you're lost, you can always go back, because He is calling you. He is just waiting for you to give Him back that embrace. Imagine you walking in the darkness and there's this person who tries to embrace you, keeps on running after you, trying to embrace you, and yet you keep on running away from Him. My dear friends, let's learn the lesson. Do not run away from God, for this God is all that we need. For God's love is all that we need in our life to truly make sense of our sufferings and to truly see all the many blessings in your life. So my dear friends, this is the word, in other words, shared to you once again today, and I hope that you have a blessed weekend, and of course, keep safe and keep healthy. Bye!